Hi community of awesome, I'm Ava J and this is Bookish Pixie. So I recently finished first drafting my latest first draft and it got me thinking about accountability. Keeping yourself accountable is important when you're trying to write something as big as a book because it requires a lot of consistent work. So today I'm going to share some tips on keeping yourself accountable. First, write down a plan. I find that writing down my plans so I have something concrete, whether that's an Evernote note or a sticky note or bullet journal, but I find that by doing that, it makes my plans feel more real and more like something I need to stick to. I personally like to-do lists. I use them every single day. I like to use an app called To Do, which is the number 2 and do on my phone, and that tells me every single day the things I need to get done that day, and that includes my writing. I find that by having something concrete like a to-do list, it just helps me stick to it a little better. Second, tell people your plans. Specifically, tell people who you know will help keep you accountable. I like using social media for that, specifically Twitter, because I'm connected to a lot of writers there, but do whatever works for you. I'm going to give a recent example because I am generally pretty good at holding myself accountable to work that I need to do. But when it comes to taking breaks or rewarding myself for a job well done, not so much. So when I recently finished that first draft, I texted a friend of mine and she reminded me that I should make a point to reward myself somehow for doing so, which is something that I've told my followers on social media and something I'm a big proponent of, rewarding yourself when you finished something important like a book. I'm not very good at doing it myself. So she reminded me like, hey, don't skip this part, reward yourself, and I'm glad she did because it did push me to actually reward myself, which was nice and I really needed to do so. Third, do the work. This probably seems obvious, but yeah, you need to at some point or another actually do the work. The key here though is you need to sit down and do the work even when you don't feel like it, which is going to happen probably a lot. I'd say with that last manuscript, I probably didn't feel like writing like 50% of the time that I sat down to write, but that didn't matter because that manuscript wasn't going to write itself. I've actually already done a vlog on writing when you don't feel like it, so I'll link to that, but yeah, it's gonna happen and you have to deal with it. And fourth, be kind to yourself. That last point was tough love, and this one is self-love because it's important to be flexible with this stuff too. Look, if you miss a goal, it's okay. You can adjust your goals along the way. That last manuscript I was working on since June up until last week, and being chronically ill, you can bet there were a lot of days that I just could not get nearly as much writing done or any writing done because I was too sick to do it. And you know, I felt really bad those days and was kind of beating myself up about it, and I needed to remind myself that it's okay if I can't get as much work done as I want certain days. I use Scrivener to first draft, and there's this really useful feature in the Mac version where it'll calculate every single day how many words you need to write in order to meet your goal by a certain date. And I found that really helpful for the last month and a half because I knew if I missed a day, Scrivener would recalculate for me what I needed to write in order to catch up. But the point is that you can adjust your goals as needed, and sometimes you need to move goalposts, and that's okay. So be honest with yourself when you just don't feel like writing versus when you need to give yourself a bit of a break. But flexibility is allowed and important. So that's what I got for today. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and comment, and I'll see you guys next week.